Hi everyone, welcome back to Themis and Thought. Grab your coffee, water, tea, whatever you're drinking, go and get that. How is everyone doing today? How are you? I have missed you all. I was trying to make this into a video, but I realized that I would not have enough time to edit. So instead of trying to make a video, I'm instead just going to come live and we're going to talk about it. So I've received a bunch of messages and requests to discuss something that is happening. A lot of Black women have been unalived, and there's a lot of conversation happening. And I think there are a lot of amazing content creators doing amazing work in the coverage. Um, I don't like talking about unaliving specifically in this way. And while my the way that I create content and the way that I engage with content online is sort of reinforced by what is happening in the same way when Kevin Samuels passed. I didn't talk about it. Um, there is enough conversation happening, and I will add my voice to the chorus of voices talking about this when I think that is necessary. But I do think the women are having a great conversation. Um, the one thing that I will say is please be careful when it comes to outrage culture generally, because um, there are certain cases that are being highlighted in a way to fearmonger. And they're saying, if you stayed with Black men, dot, 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 dot. And I hope that if you are watching this, you have done enough of the statistical analysis around engagement with men generally to know that pushing an agenda on the backs of dead Black women is not the move generally, and even specifically. So that has been very concerning to me. The people who are talking about the young lady who was unalived by her white partner, husband, are very quiet when it comes to governmental officials who have been embroiled in scandal, unaliving his wife, and a man unaliving his children, right? And so the disparity in coverage is cause for concern on one end. But again, I think there are amazing content creators covering this and echoing some of what they are saying feels slightly redundant. And I know my analytics, I know what you guys are watching. And so I know that you all have seen a lot of this content. So, one, I have been addressing the people who have been reaching out to me, and I'm having smaller conversations with people. And when I feel it necessary, I will add my voice. But again, content creators are doing amazing work on this. The news coverage is good on this. For the first time in a while, people are covering this in a way that I think is empathetic, careful, and thoughtful on the women and the media side. The men are doing what the men do and kind of pushing their own political agenda and social agenda. So that is quite unfortunate. So I wanted to address that up front. So I see it, I'm watching, and I will discuss when appropriate. I do not want to just repeat what everyone else is saying when I could just point you to a video. One of the videos that I've been watching is Chris's review. And I think Chris's is very, very, very important because she highlights the hypocrisy in the way that this is being covered. And so I did actually really like her review because um, it highlighted the sort of deep need to fearmonger and chastise Black women for their meeting voices. So I did like that. Another thing that I wanted to point out is that a man, and this is something that I've always said, a man is not a way out. Like sacrificing yourself at the altar of men and thinking men are protectors and providers is an insane thing when we have the statistical data, we have the research, we have statistics, we know you have the lived experience that a man is not the provider and protector, right? By default. That's not a thing. And the quicker we understand that, the easier it is to make hard decisions about partnership. So that's all I wanted to add for now. Again, I'm watching, I'm in community with you all, and we will continue to discuss when appropriate. All right, now that that's out of the way, I have a lot of content for this week. Most of it will be a live stream. All of it pretty much is a live stream this week because there are a lot of things that I wanted to touch on last week that I did not get to touch on. And so we get to do that this week. So grab your coffee, water, tea, whatever you're drinking, go and get that and we'll talk. All right. I agree. Chris's video was well done. Very well done. It was very well done. All right. We're here today to talk about Akon. Yes, we're here to talk about Akon. I'm going to not play the thing that I wanted to play up front. Instead, I will talk a little bit about Akon and then we go into this video that he did with the Shade Room when he's talking about the kinds of engagement that I don't appreciate, I understand, and I absolutely despise, right? So I think that I don't want this to be seen as an attack necessarily, but an analysis. And Akon has been on my radar for a while now. Like, he's been on the scene for a very, very long time. Now, he's not as prominent as he once was, but trust me when I say there was a time in music where Akon was everywhere. Akon was the, I don't know if you guys know that Jason Derulo was like a huge thing at one point, but think of that times 10. Akon, when he did Locked Up, They Won't Let Me Out, he was that guy for a very, very long time. And this is before he started talking. I think the cracks in who Akon was showed up a lot earlier than a lot of people remembered. And I hadn't known this at the time because I was a wee little baby at the time. But like in the early 2000s, maybe like, I don't know, 2007, Akon was going around because he owned a mining, or partially owned like a mining company, I think in South Africa. But he owned a mining company at the same time that the Blood Diamond, and this was a diamond mining company, mind you, the movie Blood Diamond came out and he was being critiqued, right? Because Blood Diamond is really disgusting. It is this, the way that wars are fund in certain parts of Africa, colonial powers come in and take advantage of local population, and groups of people are sent into war-torn areas in the middle of wars, actually, to go mine for diamonds and use the diamond to fund the wars. And forced labor is a major part of the kinds of engagement that exist around Blood Diamond. Just know that it's a degenerate, disgusting practice. And when Akon was asked about it, essentially he said he does not care, right? And I'm going to pull up an article from that time. Let's look at an article because I think when people see Akon, we very, that song was cringe and unhinged. um, I think when people think about Akon, they're like, oh, when did this happen? Who knew he was a bad person? And he's always been a bad person in my book. Akon say, so what if I own a diamond mine? He goes on to explain that he does not care about any blood diamond. He doesn't care about what a blood diamond is. He would later get out of the business, but it was not after defending Blood Diamond and his engagement in it. Right now, this is the first real big controversy around Akon, and part of why I think it was such an important place to start is that one of the reasons Akon has access to the continent of Africa is because he was a global superstar and he came off as someone who was very philanthropic, someone who cared deeply about the continent, and someone who wanted to give back to the continent. His position was that he became successful as a rapper, singer, author, whatever. He became really successful, but he never forgot Africa. And he was going to invest in the continent and he was going to develop it. And he even had charities that help children. Now, there is a slight issue with his charity where the website that raised money for children also has like pornography on there, or at least linked to pornography on there, where he's raising money for children, adult content. And for the life of me, I don't know why that was like I don't understand why that's a thing. Like I didn't understand that, right? And so there is this like negotiation for people who care about what Akon is doing. The negotiation is, on one hand, there is ego there. He wants to put his name on everything. And then on another hand, it's um, is this real? Like, is it a scam? What is at the back of what is at the bottom of all of this, right? Like, at baseline, is he trying to do good? Or is he trying to exploit an already vulnerable population? And the answer would not be as clear as we might want it to be when he would later come back and do Akon Lighting Africa. He had this thing, it was it Akon Lighting Africa, where he was trying to provide electricity, solar power to different communities in different countries in Africa and all over Africa. And this was my first introduction in real time of Akon attempting to do something that I believe to be a really good thing and positive thing for the continent, right? We're talking about lowering crime, lighting up the place, allowing children to have access to more study time when they come home from school. Having electricity just opens the world up more for people who didn't have it previously. So this was a good thing. There is a caveat here, and this is where the the consideration of who Akon is and whether or not he's altruistic comes into play. Because of the tariff war, I'm going to summarize it, between the US and China, right? The solar panels and um, the electric grid that Akon wanted to describe in that he was creating in Africa, and he called it an electric grid. So that's why I'm using that. It it had more geopolitical implication than I think he understood, or maybe he did. I don't want to downplay his intellect, so I don't actually know if Akon understood. If Akon was a pawn or an active participant in modern colonization of Africa, with Chinese companies. And the financing of Akon Lighting Africa and the project to go into Africa and provide electricity to different communities, the financing came from Chinese companies that were owned by the Chinese government. And so, whether or not you think this is a good or bad thing, um, I think is mostly irrelevant, but I do want to hear what you all think. But I do also consider that if China did not back this venture by Akon, would there be communities in Africa currently with electricity? And was there another way to finance this project? Was Akon getting paid to introduce electricity in different communities in Africa? And what happens when these loans cannot be paid back? Because we have this kind of debt diplomacy happening. When we think about, I think, imperialism, we think about it from this very specific physical colonial perspective where one country goes into another and takes over through force. But there are economic imperialism where countries loan money, usually through the World Bank, but can loan money to another country. And over time, you own so much of the country that in essence, you own the entire country, right? And we see the intrusion of China into the continent of Africa in a very specifically imperial way, but through financing, right? And then there's this question about whether or not loans, in the way that we buy homes, for example, is predatory. And when loaning a community, a person, a country, money becomes predatory. And I do think there's a lot there to unpack, right? So one of Akon's biggest Hey, Sin. Akon is a complete idiot. Hey, how are you? Are you back, by the way? Are you back? Are you back on YouTube? From your vacation? Why are y'all surprised? I'm Nigerian American, and Akon does not surprise me. Well, this was for me. I just came off of supporting Dr. Umar, right? And at this time in my life, we're talking about the early, like not the mid 20, like it was 2015, 2016. I'm supporting Dr. I hate saying this. I was supporting Dr. Umar because the idea of having a school for Black boys in particular was enticing to me. I like the idea that there were Black people caring about other Black people and protecting and raising and educating Black people. And so I really, really wanted that. I'm back until mid May. All right, good, good, good. Um, and then I realized, obviously, that I was getting scammed by Dr. Umar. And by I'm getting scammed, I meant my mom was getting scammed through me because I would take my mom's money or ask my mom for money because I was a child at this point, and I would give Dr. Umar some of my mom's money. Right? This was my whole type error. So when I heard that Akon, Demas, y'all gotta learn. No, I've learned. I've learned. So when I've learned that Akon was creating new opportunities for people all across the continent and giving to them electricity, right? I just assumed this was a good thing. And what I did not know at the time was that there was a political game at play with Akon where he would wait because there was a rejection of Akon initially. And what Akon did was he would go to countries that were going through an election and then weaponize the introduction of electricity through these elections to one side, one person. And then if that person won, the neighboring communities would also want what they want. And so it was a very specifically political game that was being played where it felt like if my reading of it, this is my reading. My reading of what was happening at the time was that outside countries, China, were invested in a very specific outcome in different elections. And Akon was a bridge using introduction of electricity in different communities. He was the bridge to connect the winner of those elections to external forces, China. And he would introduce electricity through various local elections. And obviously, if you're saying, if you're telling your community that if this person win, they will bring electricity to your community, it's likely that you are going to lean more in that direction. Anyway, whether or not you think this is a political game is up for you to discuss. I do think you guys should do some reading on this, because my view of this is that Akon was a pawn in a much larger game of imperialism. That is that is my take on all of that, right? And it took me a while. I haven't gone back to my write-ups in uni about Akon at this time, right? So I just wanted to put that out there before we get into what we're actually discussing about Akon, right? So there, one of his biggest contributions is the introduction of electricity into various communities in through Africa, right? That was, I think, a good thing if we do not engage deeply in the geopolitical games that were at play, which then makes it a more complicated thing that happened. All right. And from off the backs of that kind of success of lighting up Africa in his mind, bringing light to Africa, he decided that he wanted to create this futuristic city. And this is where I know it's anytime cryptocurrency becomes a part of the conversation, and I want to apologize to anyone who is deeply invested in crypto. I hope that in my lifetime it doesn't take over. But every time I see crypto and people promoting crypto, I don't know why it is, but I feel in the deepest part of my bones that there's a scam afoot, right? That's just my natural inclination. And so he said he wanted to create this like Wakanda, right? Where he is going to become the king. Already a red flag. I'm not going to live in anywhere where Akon is the king of anything. And so he creates this outline of a city that he wanted to make futuristic, and he wanted to be the center of Africa, and he was going to raise $6 billion. Not sure where he's going to get that money from. And he created a coin as the currency that would be used in this city. And he launched a coin and just scammed a bunch of people allegedly. Allegedly, this was a whole scam. And so I think it was at like 0.15 cents that you could buy. And then it went up to 50 cents. So you made money if you pulled out when it was at 50 cents. And then it dropped down now to like nothing. If you're still in, you lost like 100% of your investment. Anyhow, there's a lot of reporting that the area that he bought in Senegal is absolutely not even developed. I think there was a question, which we're going to get to right now, that the Shade Room asked Akon, hey, whatever happened to whatever happened to that city that you were trying to build? And this is what Akon had to say. So I want to play for you what Akon had to say. Thank you, Sin, for being a member. Again, I don't know what happened, but thank you. Let's play what he said.
Is all of that still in the works? Because I feel like there's misinformation where some say shut down.
A lot of misinformation.
Okay.
But I felt like we kind of walked into a world of propaganda because internet became more open and accessible. So these are all tools that was always being used.
Yeah.
But it was.
If you have not heard, the question was, what happened to Akon City? What happened to the city that you were building, that you were asking people to invest in, that you were telling people to buy your coin for, that you were getting donations for, right? Like, this is the question. And he's talking about internet and propaganda. Not yet. Let's hear.
Being used through broadcast systems and television, where we didn't have no control. There was no transparency for us to know the data, where it's being played, who it's being played to, how many times, since things like that. Today we got analytics,
right?
And we have access to who's playing what, where they being played, how many times. So we're kind of open now to what's going on, right? Before they didn't have that. So I can make a power move like that and then not get shut down.
Right.
Because they weren't worrying about my voice being large enough to influence the whole masses. But today is different.
Yeah.
I got a voice that can literally activate a whole continent. The last thing they need to know is that I'm capable of building a city that will change the economy of a place that literally electrifies and builds every other major superpower. That's not a good thing for them because now they can't utilize that.
So the white man trying to take Akon down. Akon, you said the city would be up in 2 years. That was 10 years ago. It wasn't actually 10 years ago. But you said the city would be up by 2020, 2022, then 2023, 2024, 2025, 2020. Girl, where the city at? Where is the city? And instead of explaining what happened, the financing, instead of explaining what is going to happen, instead of explaining his plans, he said the white man trying to take him down. That's exactly what he is just saying. That's it. That's the answer. I will critique this young lady real quickly. Reporting is dead. The skill that it takes to be an interviewer is gone. There is no engagement with Akon, and I don't think it's because she does not know, right? It's not because she does not know. I think the reality of celebrity has become that they can choose to not engage any further, and these interviewers and platforms need these celebrities more than the celebrities need them. And in a case like that, the celebrity has the power to make the interview whatever it is that they want to make the interview, and it becomes meaningless. It becomes absolutely meaningless. Things that we all know that black women and white men are the black men's scapegoats, period. Yeah.
Those resources the way they want to do it. So they're going to definitely keep me quiet, shut me down, and use propaganda to take credibility away from what I'm doing because it can't be believed or even been seen to believe that I can be able to accomplish something that good.
So is that something that's still in the works?
I mean, that's something I will let happen when it happened.
Okay.
And
that is something I will let happen when it happened. The truth is, like, we are not about, like, I am annoyed with her. I'm annoyed with her because there should be follow-ups. Are people investing? What's the timeline for this project? Is there a timeline? Like, you're not about to tell me what he's gonna do, that he's not wanting to talk about any of this because they are watching him.
Announce it when it's done because one thing I realized, the more I promoted it, the more I got attacked.
Like by the government? Yeah. Were you scared for your life?
No, I mean, I wasn't scared for my life, but I was definitely taking way more precautions than I normally would be. You know what I mean? Like my mom cooked for me everywhere I go. I ain't eat nowhere else outside. I didn't eat in no hotels. I didn't jump in no Ubers. I rented my own cars in different locations, drove myself. Like I would do anything that I could so that nobody else took the ability to handle anything for me. I made sure I handled it or someone close to me that I love and trusted did it for me.
Oh, that's scary. But
no, it's different. It's man, on that level, I realize, okay, now I get it. I understand.
Wow. Yeah, because they don't want you to have the access and they want it to.
Sorry, I'm getting a little bit annoyed. And I'm so exhausted that I don't want to be like heightened at all this life. I don't want to get too heightened. She is very annoying to me. Because why are you feeding into this man's delusion of grandeur, but like lying? Where is the city that you promised? Who are the investors? Are they still around? Do you still have the leasing on the land? Do you still have the backing of the government? When do we expect to have infrastructure? Like, why are you sitting here laughing with him talking about they don't want to see a black man win? Who is they? Right. I'm tired of hearing about who is they?
still be in control.
And it's only dangerous for people that have high influence.
Right.
Like if you ain't got that big of an influence, then they really don't care.
Yeah.
But when they know that you influence a certain group that their interests rely on to actually succeed, that's when you got to be careful.
So what do you think about like Kanye right now?
All right, we're not about to do that. I'm not doing that with him. So we are gonna go. We're gonna go to the part. So I wanted to introduce to you Akon, not just as an artist, but a self-proclaimed philanthropist, and hopefully there starts a conversation about his dealings, one in lighting Africa, his charity, his mining company for blood diamonds that he came out of, Akon City. And now we have Akon and his concept of what it means to be a man and to lead. And I think this all sort of collides in a very specific and degenerate way. Here's what I believe. I believe that the way you operate in one part of your life is how you operate in all of your life, right? And while I do believe there are people who are very, very capable of compartmentalizing where they can be a high performer in one area and just like trash in another. Trash as a descriptor, but it is pejorative, so I apologize. I do believe that there are people like that, but I do think generally we operate in this framework where we treat a lot of things similarly. Akon, I believe, is a representation. The failure of Akon, I believe, represents the failure of a lot of people who operate like Akon, right? I think he represents the height of success, but also the height of degeneracy. The scamming, the lying, the cheating, all of that, I think, is embodied in the kind of archetype that he represents. I won't say it again, but you know what I mean. And when he describes manhood, for example, he does it in the most animalistic way possible, like a caveman, uncontrolled sexuality that does not make sense to me. Because I don't think, as a Black man, I do not like to be compared to an animal. I don't like to be talked about in this sexually depraved way. So when I hear another Black man doing that, I don't understand why he would accept the structures around him that tells him who he is. Because when he calls himself a breeder, very specific image around slavery comes to mind. And Akon was not a descendant of slave, not that I know of. So I don't know why he would evoke those kinds of imagery to describe himself as a quote breeder. But we'll listen to it and then we'll talk. It is very disrespectful, it's very gross, it's very demeaning, but I did not expect anything less. When Akon went viral last year or the year before, talking about a similar topic about women and how he engaged, I did not find it surprising because this is who he is. This is who he has always been. He was successful as a rapper and quickly lost money, faith, fame, all of it. He lost a lot because he's just incapable of maintaining any kind of dignity around him. So I didn't expect anything more from Akon.
Have multiple,
it's tradition, yeah.
It's tradition
right.
to have multiple wives or women,
Right.
Polygamy. And in the American culture, it's not.
Yes, it's not as accepted.
It's not as accepted,
Yeah.
but he's living that lifestyle now.
Right.
So, like, what are your thoughts
honestly,
on that?
I applaud him for doing it because he's doing what a lot of guys wish and would want to do. They just don't have the balls to be honest with the girls that they're dealing with.
Yeah.
Because every dude, I mean, think about it. They got their main chick, then they got their side chick, then they got their little jump off.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very few that's actually faithful. Like, I'm being completely honest. Like, men, let me rephrase that. That's committed.
Okay.
Because men, let me not say that because it's gonna create a whole nother thing. But I honestly believe that men are the most faithful on the planet. They're just not committed. But don't worry.
Faithful to who?
to their woman.
to their homies.
Yeah, riddle me this. How can you be faithful to someone but not committed to them when you commit to them and you break that commitment? Isn't that like you not being faithful? And again, this is where instead of being salacious, the interviewer should have asked him to define faithfulness in the way we discuss it in terms of relationship versus committed. If you are going to be non-committal and faithful, how are you faithful to a woman that you're not committed to if you told her you're committed to her? Because what he is going to describe is degenerate, but what he explains, the example he gives is a man lying to his girlfriend or wife that he loves, that he's faithful to, and he's breaking the commitment to her. But somehow you can breach commitment and still be faithful in his mind. And I wish she would press him on it, but she's so caught up in giggling that she is not doing her job. And I do find it annoying. I find it annoying when people are really bad at their jobs.
No, to their woman.
Okay.
Okay, let me show you the difference between faithful and committed. Right?
Okay.
Okay. Men aren't committed. We're not built to be committed. We're not.
Okay, sorry. This is going to annoy you because I'm going to pause him for a lot. When you say men aren't faithful, men aren't committed, or men aren't committed, what you're doing is highlighting that you're a coward. You're a coward and you're incapable of standing in your own truth. Instead of saying, I am not faithful or I am not committed, he has to make his truth about how degenerate he is a truth for all men because he cannot stand in his truth on his own. I've never cheated on anyone ever in my life. It has never happened. To sit up there and say men aren't committed is an insane thing to do. Now, I am not saying you all should believe men are committed or men can be committed. Whatever you as a woman believe, that is fully on you because you need to protect yourself, right? And so I can accept you accepting his reality, period. What I don't accept is him telling me my reality and other men's reality. I think that's an insane thing. That is an insane thing to do. Say, I am a dusty degenerate who is incapable of keeping my thing to myself or to the person that I'm with, and therefore I will be cheating. No, instead of saying that and owning that, he has to project that outwards because his mental framework cannot allow for him to be a degenerate by himself. He has to make sure everyone is a degenerate so he does not feel bad about being the degenerate he is. And that is insane to me. That's actually insane. How you going? Yeah, I thought they were leaders and can't even control themselves. How are you a leader and can't control yourself? I don't like this kind of weakness. I do not like this kind of cowardice. Instead of saying men, why don't you just say I, me, you? Because you will want to be unable to stand in your own truth about your lack of discipline. Your lack of discipline is the problem. Men aren't committed is merely a justification for his lack of self-control. Instead of taking ownership for his behavior, he externalizes responsibility using some kind of biological essentialism claim as a means for the decisions, the poor decisions he's making. And this for me is a problem. This is a problem for me. And if we do not hold, particularly men, to a higher standard, if we just accept that men just cheat, then you're just going to sit around looking dumb while these men are going out there cheating. Absolutely not. Even if it is in your nature to cheat, you need to transcend that dusty, disgusting, degenerate nature. Ain't nobody gonna sit around and just accept that, oh, men cheat. Okay, yes, they can cheat, and you better not. There is a quote from Bell Hooks that I like. In The Will to Change, we reviewed The Will to Change. And she talked about if women have been taught through sexist socialization that a journey through the difficult terrain of sex will lead women to their heart's desire. She then explains that men have been taught that their heart's desire should be for sex and more sex. So women are being taught that sex will lead to their heart's desire, while men's heart desire should be sex, as far as the socialization goes for men and women, right? And sex as a conquest for men, sex as a way to build themselves up in terms of social credit with other men, sex as a way to dominate, sex as a way to feel powerful. Sex becomes for men a way of self solacing, of being one with themselves through the access to women. It is not about connecting to someone else, but rather about releasing their own pain. Sex is a dominance game for men as far as bell hooks is concerned. And that is due to socialization, not this dusty degenerate biological essentialist claim that he is about to and is making. Sociologists, feminists agree that men who act this way don't just stop acting this way. No matter how much sex you encounter, it will never be enough to fill that enormous hole in these dusty degenerates' heart.
Natural breeders by nature, right?
Okay.
We populate because that's how God created us to be.
Please.
No, to their women.
Okay.
Okay, let me show you the difference between faithful and committed. Right?
Okay.
Okay. Men aren't committed. We're not built to be committed. We're natural breeders by nature, right?
Men aren't committed. We are not made to be committed. We are natural breeders by nature. So you are saying you're a degenerate. The way, and as someone who is deeply invested in learning about colonization, slavery in particular, and the ways that Black bodies were used, the fact that someone who is not a descendant of slavery in this specific way, the fact that someone who could speak out against certain kind of stereotyping is leaning into these stereotypes is insane. To say that we are natural breeders is a deeply degenerate and disgusting thing to say. And instead of saying I have a drive to impregnate a bunch of women, you are saying men have this drive. Men are breeders, and that's insane. Not only is it an acceptance of a very animalistic view on manhood, right? It is an assertion that undermines his humanity. He's taking that and he's willing to undermine his humanity and the humanity of every single man in a way to justify his own behavior.
Okay.
We populate because that's how God created us to be. So we can't be committed to one or two or three or whatever. That's not we're not wired to be committed. But faithfulness is something totally different. I could be with a chick and be with her forever through all the problems.
So you are not going to ask any questions there. You are saying men were not, he just told you men were not wired to be committed, and you have no questions. We weren't wired that way. Are we wired to fly? No. But we build plane and we can fly. Let's talk about socialization versus biology. Let's do it. Because it does not make sense. So you're an animal, you're a brute, right? Like ask him these questions. Let him confess to more about his nature so we can actually have a discussion about what it means to be a man who cannot control his sexual urges. Women have sexual urges. If you should follow all your urge, if your urges, right, all of them, control you and tells you how to act, how to behave, how to respond, and that's all you operate on, and you have no self control, that does make you, in a lot of ways, some of the lowest animals, right? Like, and so, like, if we are not engaging in conversations about what it means to transcend your lowest, the lowest nature of man, what are we doing? If you cannot control yourself, what are we doing? I don't know what this lady is doing, and I'm very annoyed by her engagement. I want to give her grace insofar as I understand that there is a punitive sort of engagement, retaliation, when you are deeply investigating the person, interrogating the person you're interviewing. And so all of these interviews become sort of softball interviews where people come up there and just give their manifesto unchecked, unquestioned, uninterrogated. Whatever these men tell you about themselves, believe it. That alone will deprogram the romance fantasy. I actually believe that when men tell you that they are degenerate, you should believe. I actually do agree with this. I do. And treat them accordingly. I do. I think this is insane.
No matter what, I can find the baddest chick alive and have my main chick, and I'm using as an example, could be in the hotel and she busts down the door and I'm knee deep in there and I'm gonna jump off like, hey, I don't even know her. She out of here. Like I wouldn't even know her.
So you would lie to the person you're faithful to about your engagement with other people because you are not committed. You cannot be committed, but you can be faithful. And in your book, being faithful includes lying about your engagement with other women. That is your final answer. And she's sitting up there laughing with this foolishness, which is very annoying. There is nothing funny about this kind of engagement. There is an indictment on men generally, and she's laughing instead of really engaging. Like, why are you here? If you're interviewing, is it just to get a name on your platform so that you can get views? Or is it to engage in conversation with the person that is in front of you? Because it does not look like she cares about what is being said. She's just going to let him talk. And I find that very unhelpful. I find it very unhelpful. The man who can have minds that engage in selling blood diamonds or mining for diamonds in war-torn areas, the man who can sell out a continent if they allow him to, the man who will allegedly scam using cryptocurrency, the man who scam using creating city, the man who creates a charity, like there are so many things you can engage in discourse around to completely ignore all of that and then go to the kind of mostly useless part of a conversation where he's talking about committed versus faithfulness, and still at that very childlike level of discourse, you don't have any pushback, any questions, any concerns. You're just sitting there laughing with a dusty, degenerate, useless man. That is insane. That's actually kind of insane.
Means nothing to me because this is what I'm faithful to.
What?
But just hear me out. How many men do you know will fight for that one because of the mistake they made with something that didn't matter to them?
To me,
that's faithfulness.
Then why, if you're faithful and the other person didn't matter to you, why would you debase yourself to be with someone who does not matter to you, and also debase the person you love by engaging with someone who didn't matter to you, breaching trust, lying? Like, why would you do that? Love in this way is very specifically conditional, right? The condition is that you are willing to be abused. by a man like this, and that's insane to me.
That's creating that energy to fight for it. Now, commitment, we are guilty. We're not committed. We're gonna be with multiple women. That's just who we are. We can't. That's nature. Nature.
No. That is who you are. Do not say we, unless you say we, meaning yes. We do no, absolutely not.
Created that. We didn't create that. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a coincidence that every single woman on this planet, if they have a problem with their spouse, it's over another woman. Think about it. Every chick that got a problem with their man is over another chick.
Not every.
Okay, 99.9%.
Don't laugh and stop letting him make up numbers and statistics in front of you. People have all kinds of problems with their spouses and partners. But even if this were true, this would mean there is a deeply psychological problem with the male population around their ability to control themselves. And then we get into the idea of leadership, right? If the biggest dysfunction for women in the society is their man doing something with other women, and men are incapable of stopping this behavior, part of the biggest issues we see in the community and the society is these raggedy, disgusting, degenerate, weak and nothing AB of a man who are causing problems. So he's admitting to being the problem. How do you solve that problem? How do you solve that problem? Because it is a problem. Do not accept it as nature, and because it's nature, it is not a problem. There's a lot of nature that we've decided to fight against. When it is cold outside, we are in the air conditioning, we are turning up the heat. When it's hot outside, we turn on the air condition. Like we don't just say, oh, you know what, it's hot, it's cold, I'm gonna freeze to death, I'm just gonna lay out here in the cold, right? Like nature by itself is not an argument for why people behave certain ways and why we should allow certain kinds of behavior, right? And so if we accept that you think something is natural is not enough to say that it should happen and continue to happen, we are at least we're at the second question. The first is it natural? If it's natural for you to cheat, then maybe women shouldn't be with men. If women want commitment and men can't give commitment based on Akon's recollection or explanation of manhood and womanhood, then maybe women shouldn't be with men because they can't give you what you want. If you want commitment and Akon say men can't give commitment, maybe you don't want a man. I don't know. I'm just going by Akon's logic. Yeah, this is why a man like Akon cannot get respect because he just highlighted his lack of self-control.
Do you think that's a coincidence? That ain't no coincidence. That's nature.
No, I don't like that. I
know you don't like it because unfortunately you never took the time to understand nature. Because listen, women, first of all, are the most smartest human beings on the planet.
Well, you're not the most smartest because you said most smartest. So we already know you out of the running. We know you're already out of the running. So next question.
You guys can multitask better than anything and anybody on this world, right? One thing about women is that you guys know us better than we know ourselves. And you outnumber us. There's 15 women for every one man on this earth. You guys have all the attributes to run the world. Why don't you?
Because there have been things put in when we tried, they didn't vote.
Who is they?
The people.
No.
The men.
No.
The women.
It's more women than there is men. Even if no man voted for a woman, you all can still vote for that woman and she will win.
Yeah.
The problem is two things. And I promise you, the moment women solve these two problems, you guys will run the world's hands down. First, y'all don't stick together. That's the problem.
No, the problem is religion. I think one of the main problem is religion. I don't actually disagree with him that women need to stick together and actually do away with male leadership. I actually agree with him that women should lead and stand up for their own right to lead. I do believe that. But one of the worst things I've seen is women being willing to make themselves subject to men's rule. I think that is absolutely insane. That is an atrocious, just degenerate idea that needs to be done away with. The religion that seeks to tell you that you are second and you are beneath, lower than, and should be led by a man is one that has to be, at least that part has to be fundamentally rejected. It is so ingrained in women's mind that men are naturally leaders that it will take a lot more kind of deconstruction to get women to a point where they're accepting their own virtue, their own power, and their right to lead. And I don't know that one conversation can do this because it takes a lot of deconstruction. That's the first thing. The second thing is that I think because we look at men and we think the average man is larger than the average woman, and we look at body size and we think might is right as a kind of moral truth, right, around leadership, we ignore the fact that because you're bigger physically does not mean you're intellectually superior. And because you're bigger physically does not mean you should lead. It might mean you're a soldier, right? It might mean you're a general, but it does not necessarily mean you're the president. It does not necessarily mean you're the leader. It might mean you're the bodyguard, right? It might mean you're the hired help. I worry that women have accepted as a fact, as a truth, that men are the natural leaders and men's natural place is to be ahead of women. And that is deeply, I believe, deeply religious. I do believe that fundamentally that is deeply religious and we need to fight back against it forcefully.
The main root. You guys have to learn to stick together.
Yeah.
The day y'all stick together, y'all gonna run the world. That's number one. And number two, just learn to understand men better than we understand y'all.
Y'all don't understand us, Lululu.
Okay, so explain to me how every time y'all take us back.
Who's y'all?
I'm just saying the average.
Akon is playing in this woman's face, and he should. He's playing in this woman's face, and he should. What he should have done is said, y'all also think men are better than you. You think you should be subjugated by men. You think men are the leader. And the reason why is because you all do not want to lead. You all do not want the power. You all want to be soft, demure, cutesy. And so y'all give up your power every single time you can to a dusty, degenerate, useless man like me. And I take that power and do whatever I want with it. That's what he should have said, to make her feel worse, because I do believe that a lot of women do give up their power. Part of the series, and I'm glad this is part of it, starting tomorrow, that we have to talk about is the fact that the women online, the content creators online, the people fighting so desperately for the 19th Amendment to be repealed, for women to not have any rights, for women to go back to the home, for the trad life. It is insane to me that a lot of the loudest voices are women. That is actually insane. And you want to know what kind of woman? Religious. The Christian girl is up here fighting for y'all to be oppressed. And we are going to have to start to talk about them.
Why is that though?
I don't think that has anything to do with a woman being a woman.
It has everything to do with it. You know why? Because we understand you.
No.
We know how far to go.
You know how to manipulate.
We know what to do, what to say.
I think you know who to do that to, who to manipulate.
Even if that's the case.
To say it to.
Yes, you know who that is?
Yeah.
The woman. We do know.
Yeah, but it's not every.
No,
it's not every though.
Nothing is every.
Yeah.
I'm just talking generally.
Right. To be fair, there is a group of women who take the same man back 11 times.
No, they will. You know why? Because we understand that women's primary power is emotion. So what we do, we perfect the art of emotion.
Or the art of manipulation.
No, it's not manipulation. Manipulation is you're calling manipulation information. We don't manipulate you. We just know. We like information.
There is a man in your face telling you the truth about the fact that men are just running through women, running amok, and doing as much as they can, however they can, whenever they can. And instead of saying, oh, got it, so that's what's going on, cool, and learning from it, this is the time you're like, no, 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 look around. Actually, look around. These women are getting manipulated left, right, and center. And it's not even like good manipulation. It's just like, you just want what you want and you go make up a life in your head and a reality in your mind about who this man is instead of looking at him and seeing the truth. This is a degenerate.
Information is power. So guess
Information
what?
is
So when we
power.
have that information, and that information is the information that you bypassed,
Yeah.
it makes it seem like it's manipulation because it went over your head, but we caught it.
Well, you know who a lot of people get, maybe upset with, like Nick Cannon and things like that.
Right.
I don't blame him in that situation because he's being honest. He's being forthcoming. He's being honest,
Right.
And the women
So
are
when you say
choosing.
they're being upset at Nick Cannon, why? Why are they being upset?
See, this is also another problem that I have because women are making mistakes, because women are making bad decisions to be with Nick Cannon. Does not mean Nick Cannon is not also responsible for his behavior. Right? We understand that women a lot of the women who are with Nick Cannon are doing it for financial access. And I do have a problem fundamentally with saying you don't blame Nick Cannon for walking around this world and impregnating a bunch of women as if the only responsibility for not having children, the only responsibility for a man impregnating women is the women's rejection of the man. No, you as a man have the capacity to not impregnate, to not go around and doing and being as degenerate as you can. You have that responsibility. So while I do blame these women for their actions, you do not take responsibility, liability away from Nick Cannon for his own actions.
No, because multiple women, multiple
Now,
children.
who's more upset, the guys or the girls?
I think at this point, a little bit of everyone.
But if you could say the majority of that, which side is more upset? You think it's more of the women upset at Nick or more of the guys that's upset at Nick?
Probably the women.
The women?
Yeah.
Do you think it's because they're jealous they're not in that position?
No. What?
I'm just asking. I don't know.
No, absolutely
I'm just asking.
not. Absolutely
Because
not.
women got that jealous gene that they don't know how to get rid of. And I think that's the problem that holds you guys back. Because y'all would tear up the whole house.
Well, I think with him, he's honest and he's leading with that. So in that scenario, you're giving someone the opportunity to choose. You're not using emotion or jealousy or that like.
Did you not listen to Nick Cannon talk about how he lies and manipulates and tricks women? So you did not hear any of that. Nick Cannon sat up there, I think it was with Dusty Degenerate Cam Newton, and he was talking about how he manipulate women and lie to women and trick women and get what he wants out of women. Again, I'm not saying these women are somehow not to be blamed because everyone sees Nick Cannon, it's all out there in public, but to pretend like, oh, he's being honest is degenerate. One, even if he were being honest, he's still engaging in impregnating these women. Like, what do you mean?
They're choosing for themselves. So I think there's a certain type of woman who will do that, and there's just a certain type of woman who would not.
Right. So the question was,
know that those aren't distinctions without elevation. She is elevating one group above the other. And even if you think one should be elevated above the other, the critique can be aimed at these women however you want. But to completely shield Nick Cannon from critique is absolutely insane and diabolical, and she's an op. She is an op. It is as simple. She's an op.
Why do you think more women were upset at Nick when he gave these women the option, the opportunity, and the blessing to share his life with him? You don't think it's because they're jealous of those women?
No, I don't think it's because.
So why would they be upset?
I think
it doesn't
from what
affect them.
I see, it's the.
No, girl, speak from your perspective. Say, I feel disgusted by it because he's creating a lot of broken homes. Say it. Do not say those women. Speak for yourself. At this point, just go ahead and speak for yourself. You're annoying me now.
The assumption or the feeling of creating multiple households and not being able to be available to, emotionally, at least the children and, things like that outside of like financially. Well, let me hear from you because you have.
No, I'm just asking because the reason why I ask is I like to understand women better than they understand me.
I think you deal with a certain type of woman who would be jealous about that.
No, actually, no.
So why do you think like that?
Because I have to understand you to create the opportunity for jealousy not to enter into your.
As you go into this new world as a woman and you're out earning men, you're more educated than men. It was my hope that we would see a difference in terms of the way men are able to treat women who are able to walk away. And as I've watched really successful women throw their lives, their friendship away for degenerate men who cannot afford to go on a trip with them, so they have to pay for it. As I've watched really beautiful, amazing, successful women do the most to get access to a man who has nothing to give them, I am now deeply concerned about the fact that women aren't going to change in their ability to leave, in their ability to provide for themselves. They're still going to want to have men lead them with their own money, with their own resources. And that's insane to me. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, and we're going to talk about this a lot later, about the fact that Gen Z in particular refuses to be impregnated by men. And that the Republican Party in particular, but the men's do not know what to do with the fact that Gen Z women have decided, absolutely not, I'm not going to be a baby mama. I'm not about to try to have no kids when I'm in my teens. I'm going to go focus on my career. It's not a thing. I don't want it. And that realization is very comforting to me. I don't care nothing about a population pyramid. It does not matter to me. I just like the fact that at least on the front of being impregnated, women are saying absolutely not. Now, back to Akon. It is interesting to me that this young lady, or this woman, I don't know her, talking to Akon is just up there smiling and allowing this man to just be as violent degenerate as he can be without really offering meaningful critique. And when you are saying, what is your defense of Nick Cannon? I don't care nothing about a Nick Cannon. Here you have a man in front of you with 9 kids. Talk to him about his life and his scamming ways, allegedly.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you have defended Nick in the past, right?
No, I'm not defending him. I'm just better understanding the woman on why she would be jealous. Like think about it. He's probably one of the most amazing fathers I've seen.
Okay.
Especially in the realm that we live in, the entertainment business, right? He's always there for all his children. Like this man.
That's impossible. That is impossible. He cannot be there for all of his children. That is not possible. These men are lying. If they see a man go home and take a picture with their child and post it on the internet, everyone run around and clap and laugh and talk about how amazing a dusty daddy he is, when you have not been proven, you've not proven yourself to be a good father. That's something you have to show over time. It is impossible, not almost, not likely, no, it is impossible for Nick Cannon to be there for all of his children. That is not real. It is a lie from the pits of hell that it needs to go back to.
And dressed up as a bunny on Easter.
Yeah.
What father's, doing that, nigga? Like, really?
He's a good father because he dressed up as a bunny on Easter. He is a good father because he dressed up as a bunny on Easter. This is a man with 9 children, and he thinks it's enough that you dress up as a dusty, disgusting, degenerate bunny on Easter. It's a chop, girl. It's a chop.
There's fathers doing that.
No, on his level. You ain't gonna find it.
Okay.
He's taking care of everyone and women. None of them are crying about nothing that they need. They're fully supported. They're fully secured. There's no reason why any of them are upset outside of the decision that they chose to be with him, knowing that he would be shared. There's no reason for them to be upset.
Right.
The question is, why are other women upset that these women made that decision?
Roomies, if you're upset about it, comment below.
Jealousy is the only reason I can think of.
I don't think it's
because you'll be surprised how many women want to be in that position, but they can't because the shade room will call their ass out. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about it. I'm like, what?
That is hilarious. Well, you have 9 kids, right?
I got 9, 7 boys and 2 girls.
7 boys, 2 girls.
Yeah.
So you are more open to creating.
These are my kids. Listen, if I could have created more, I would have. But I already knew what my empire can manage and what it can handle. Like, I already knew I was going to build a huge empire. So in my mind, I already knew, okay, I'm going to need this many kids.
What empire you think he building? Yeah, what empire? I don't want to do this, but like, riddle me this, y'all. What empire? Because that Wakanda not getting built. That Wakanda is absolutely not getting built. So what empire is he out here building? Outside of diluting his wealth, if he still has any, what empire is he building? There's a part of me that would love, absolutely love nothing more than to interview some of these people.
To literally manage my empire. I wasn't going to stop until I got my 2 girls. Because my 2 girls is who I'm depending on to take care of me when I get older.
Sorry. Why can't the boys take care of you? You have 7 boys, and you were going because you need a daughter so that the daughters can take care of you. So you are having these daughters for their labor.
Because women will always take care of daddy, and boys will always take care of mommy. That's just nature.
Yeah.
Because every decision I make is all based on nature. So if when I get older, my boys ain't changing my diapers. They're not. My daughters, though, they're gonna make sure I'm good.
Yeah.
So I need to make sure that my legacy.
Is homophobia? I hope to God that I'm wrong about like homophobia. Like, I'm just gonna assume I'm wrong. Because yes, this feels exploitative of the daughters, right? But it is a very strange thing because your daughter's changing you is not sexual. And your son changing you should also not be sexual. Your daughter's changing the mother is not sexual. Your son's changing their mother is also not sexual. He did not say anything. The interviewer is actually pissing me off because like this comment right here requires some investigation because I do need to understand what actually is being said here. Like, I actually do need to understand what is being said here, and I don't actually know because it was not clarified. I have a gut feeling. I think I'm also right, but the discomfort with which he engaged with his sons changing him is about a very specific kind of patriarchy that includes a level of homophobia and the exploitation of his daughter and his daughter's labor, right? Like, we get that, but there is no investigation into it, so I don't know actually what is being said.
See, and me as a person, as a human, I know that I'm gonna be cared for later, so I'm not old folks home or whatever. So I need about 2 girls. As far as my 7 boys, they taking care of the empire. They're gonna make sure all this is set. Everybody's assigned.
Wait. So you had daughters to take care of you, and you had sons to take care of your money and your empire. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So you want to exploit the labor of your daughter, but you want to give your empire, your money, your businesses to your sons.
Some part of my leg.
I hope they don't change not a diaper. Not a single diaper should be changed.
Legacy that they can manage and keep it moving.
Okay. And when it comes to the polygamy aspect, I want to ask you this. Have you had a harder time or easier time? Well, who have you had a harder or easier time with that
one thing I can say, my life was a lot easier when I had multiple women surrounding me.
Okay.
It's a lot harder with just one woman. It's hard.
How many do you have now?
I plead the fifth because what I say might incriminate me.
Okay, so you are lying to women. Why is she laughing? Because this is, so you talk about being faithful, right? And can you be faithful to someone that you continuously lie to? Your inability to answer the question about how many women you have feels like now you're lying to multiple women and you're laughing about it instead of deeply engaging. And again, maybe this is not something you should deeply engage with, but like there is a specimen in front of you that is deeply degenerate. And if you're going to engage with the degeneracy that is coming your way, there is a level of dissecting that is required, right? That gets into the mind of the person talking to you so you can understand, or if not you, if you don't have that kind of intellectual itch, that kind of curiosity, at least imagine your audience does and provide for us enough content and context for what this man is saying. You just sitting up there and laughing and having a good old time when he's saying absolutely nothing is insane, because I don't understand what he's saying. I know for a fact you don't understand what he's saying, and you're just up there laughing, and it's kind of degenerate. Like, it's kind of useless. This is why media is dying, by the way, because these people don't know what they're doing. And it is frustrating. She's a beautiful, amazing young woman. I'm hopeful. She is beautiful, but it's not enough. And I've gotten too easy on these people, like not being able to do their jobs. Like, ain't nobody got time. Sitting up there laughing with Akon being degenerate. Like, what do you, like, girl, please get out of my face.
Did you hear that? My life was better when I had multiple.
Yes.
How many you got now?
Again, I plead the fifth because what I may say may incriminate me.
Well, it sounds like you don't have multiple. If your life was better when you had multiple and it's not as good now, then you don't have multiple. Like, if you're pretending you don't have multiple. That's what the sentence structure in common language suggests. Like, we're just gonna play dumb. We don't know what it means. We're stupid. We don't understand the English language and how it's used in everyday life. Dumb.
So was that concept for you easier, or who was it easier with, African women or American women?
Honestly, it doesn't matter, to be honest, because it's all about understanding, and communication is the key. Like, I think most women are communicated false information walking into it, because to be honest, a lot of you cowards, they're not going to tell the girl the truth off the gate because they're afraid to lose them. But you can't lose what it ain't yours yet, right? So what happens is, from the gate, from the moment you say, hello, my name is such and such, that conversation should be very, very open and understood, so she knows exactly, if I walk into this situation, this is what I'm dealing with. This is the baggage that comes with you, and give her the option or the choice to decide if that's something that she want to deal with.
You said before, and I quote, in America, men think they're women and women think they're men, as far as gender roles. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Well, I mean, here, it's just like, America is like, I don't know, the women here really want to wear the pants. Like, they really want that responsibility. And me personally,
you want to know something that I find strange? A lot of people critique America for the gender role and the fact that women are educated and women have opinions and do not want to, like, hide away and shut up and be submissive to their dusty degenerate self. What other countries would you like to live in, sir? I've always had this question. Where would you want to live? Why don't you go to the places where women are subjugated, showing only their eyes? I don't know. Like, why don't you go to those places? Like, I don't understand why, because one of the truths about the Western world is that, yes, women in the Western world have more freedom. And part of modernity, part of progress is the truth about women doing better, well, having more rights. Now compare those economy, the education system, the political system, which can also be very corrupt, but compare them to those places where women are fully subjugated. Let's do those comparison. And then go to the country that you want where women are subjugated. Would you go live there? No. Because the truth is, if women were naturally submissive, someone said this on TikTok. If women were naturally submissive, you would not have to work so hard to try to subjugate them. If women were naturally submissive, girl, you would not have to work this hard to subjugate women.
I don't know why. Like, you know what it's like to be a man and how hard it is to have to go to work, pay all the bills. Like the women in Africa, to be honest, that's like settled under this culture. They don't but go shop and take care of the kids and make sure that the maid or themselves make sure the house is clean.
Mm-hmm.
The women in Africa, he believes, are living the best life ever. I'm gonna need you to name the country. I'm going to need you to name the country because I want to go investigate myself. I need you to provide for me the country where women in Africa are by and large just living their best life, zipping it and zooing it, and the men are providing and they're just going out shopping and eating and living their best life. I need you to provide for me that country. Because you said Africa, I need the country now because I need to do some investigation. Let's look it up. No, I don't want to use chat. I don't want to use AI. In Africa, where women in math do not work and are cared for by men. I had to. They know women aren't naturally submissive, nor would a woman naturally choose them, which is why many of us are currently ain't. Yes, women have the choice now. Zero, no country, still searching, can't find none. Nope. Nope. All right, period. So it's a lie. It's a lie. You want to tell me that one of the most resource-rich countries where the economy for most of the countries there are not doing well. You expect me to believe these men are out there providing for these women? Girl, please get out of my face. You dusty degenerate, useless, weak, ain't nothing, a be liar. Like, ain't nobody got time for you to be lying in their faces like this, Akon. There is no reason for you to be lying in our faces like this, talking about, oh, in Africa, women are just living a life of luxury, leisure. Like, Okay, girl, please get out of my face. Like, Akon up here telling us that while China over here colonizing Africa, that men are over there being providers and protectors of women. Girl, Akon, girl. Ooh. The Muslim men all over Africa are like, look, they are striking because there are laws being introduced that grown men cannot marry children. And these men are out in the road crying and going on strikes. Please get out of my face, Akon. Akon, please get out of my face.
They live the most amazing life. The only hardship that they deal with is when it's time to have that baby.
Yeah.
The only hardship he says women in Africa has is to have children. And this woman is saying yes. Are you literally going to sit there? Show me the country. Name the country. Are you really not going to ask him to provide evidence of this foolishness? You really sat there and allow Akon to tell you that women in Africa are just living a life of luxury and leisure, and their only issue is when they are going to have children. That's your final answer. That's your final answer. Girl, please. Well, I'm sure African women, like black women, are too busy putting the men first to protect their children. Right. Ain't nobody got time. Like, I'm so annoyed by this obvious lie that is being kind of swept under the rug. Because I think that lady right there is also, I don't know what country she's from, but African. And I think she likes this kind of promotion, but it is a lie. And what you don't sit up there and do is lie and allow this man to lie. The women all across this globe are struggling because and due to men and men's action. And Africa as a continent is no different. Actually, probably worse there, including Jamaica too, girl. It's not like I'm gonna be the first. Like we've seen the videos, girl. Ain't nobody got time for Akon.
And I don't know why women don't want that life here. They just really want to compete with guys.
You don't know why women in America don't want the lives of women in Africa. You don't and this woman is literally sitting there not even engaging. Like, are you not, like, I know he's elevating African women over American women. I know that's what he's attempting to do. But it is so baseless and useless that your feelings should not be hurt by this dumb, idiotic take. Right? This is weird. But I do think he might be using this woman interviewing him, her pride, to sell a dusty, degenerate idea that no one believes. If you listen to this man for 2 seconds, you know he's full of mess. Ain't nobody listening to Akon and believing him. So the fact that your ego is touched in any meaningful way by this very, very obvious lie is insane. And she's a problem. She is a problem. She will continue to be a problem. Ain't nobody going to hype you up while putting down other women. Like, no one wants to be subjugated. Even the women lying that they want to be subjugated don't want to be subjugated, but they will create the means and the methods for their own subjugation if they don't lock in. We're gonna talk about Serena Joy at some point. We're gonna talk about Serena Joy because that lady done pissed me off. I finished watching The Handmaid's Tale, and I'm just shook at how deeply true everything that I've seen in The Handmaid's Tale has become in America. Like, I am so stressed. I'm more stressed for women than women are stressed for women. Like, it is insane to me that I'm more stressed for women than women are stressed for women. When y'all sat up there and saw these Republicans talking about how teenagers aren't having children anymore and they're complaining because teenagers aren't having children anymore, we got a problem. I'll get back to that tomorrow. We'll start our feminist talk tomorrow because, girl, ain't nobody got time for y'all to be sitting here having these men playing in y'all's faces. Like, I'm tired of it. So he just going to, hey V, how are you? To ignore the war and genocide happening in the Congo and Sudan. Yeah, just straight up ignore it. I'm stressed, like watching women create, essentially out here creating Gilead is insane to me. Like watching women content creator being slick out here talking about, oh my God, no one wants to be trad wife. Girl, get out of my face talking about some trad wife.
It's crazy.
Well,
I'm just saying, help me understand.
Listen, I'm an African woman.
Yes, so you get it.
I like to have my feet up.
And that's the problem. I'm an African woman. I like to, girl, you are at work right now. You're not good at your job. That much is true. So you might be wanting to kick your feet up because you ain't good at the job, but you are currently working. Again, not doing well, but working. I am an African woman. I like to have my feet up. Where are African women having their feet up? Where are African women having their feet up, girl? Where is this happening? African women don't have their feet up. Name the country. I ain't seen it. Jamaican women ain't got their feet up. American women ain't got their feet up. Like, ain't nobody got their feet up, girl. Not in this economy and the economy before. Ain't nobody have their feet up. Where they have their feet up? When they were running through the jungle drinking mango juice off the lips of their kings. Yeah, I remember that lady who said we were running through the jungle naked. Yeah, I remember that lady said feminism was bad because before we had feminism, we were running through the jungle drinking mango juice out of the lips of our kings. Wait, y'all. Wait. Sorry. What's bothering me is that Black women aren't doing nothing to fight for ourselves. We're taking the hardest L's, but doing nothing because we only fight for Black men. It's annoying. Yeah, it is. Not only is it annoying, it is an unwillingness to first accept the reality that these men aren't coming. They're not saving. They are not saviors. They're not protectors. They're not providers. You're going to have to provide. The thing is, women, and Black women in particular, knows this very intimately. I don't know why I need to be convincing you when you know this very intimately. You provide for yourself, you care for yourself, you provide for your kids, you care for your kids, you protect yourself, you protect your kids. You show up and do that. You have done that. You have held a community together. You have cared for people. And you created this narrative that white supremacy is the reason these men aren't taking care of their children. White supremacy is the reason why men aren't beating you. White supremacy is... And to some extent, yes. But like Akon is a dusty degenerate from the continent who is doing the same thing. Right? And even if that is the case, you now need to fight for yourself. You need to accept that maybe, even if it is true that we need help, because we do, that you need to first help yourself and your kids. Protect yourself and your kids. You're going to lift up this man to be your leader. You're going to provide for this man to be your leader. You're going to give this man money to be your provider. Like girl, hurry up. Go ahead and hang it up for me. Go ahead and hang it up for me. Ain't nobody got time. Good. Y'all know these men ain't no providers and no protectors. Girl, like, stop. These men are not providers. Men, by virtue of manhood is not providing or protecting. They're not provider. We are not providers and protectors by virtue of being a man. It's not a thing. It's a lie. You're welcome. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Thank you, Sin. But yeah.
I do not want to be the man of the house.
Absolutely.
But I don't think it's that they want to. I think there's just maybe haven't met a lot of people who can provide that type of lifestyle. In America, the women are the most educated. You know, they are in a position to fend for themselves. So a lot of the time they're not meeting men who are on the same playing field, most likely.
But that's the thing, like a man and a woman will never be on the same playing field.
Yeah.
An education doesn't make you higher or more powerful than the man, or the fact that you got more money don't make his responsibility towards you something that you don't
See, he's traditional until he's not. These men will weaponize tradition. He just sat up there and said, men are not being men and women are not being women. And in his traditional worldview, the men provide and the woman kicks her foot up or whatever. But then in the reality, when reality set in, he's like, oh, money doesn't matter. Education doesn't matter. You should still let him lead you. Like, what do you mean it doesn't matter? Are you traditional or are you not? Because you can, oh my God. And she just sitting there. This is the part that's like frustrating to me. She just sits there and gets tired. Oh, we're African women. We like to kick our foot up. God, ain't nobody kicking their foot up. Please, you're at work right now. Ain't nobody making you kick your foot up. You're working. It's giving 50-50 at best. Like, ain't nobody got time for that. That's the thing too. Black women aren't even fighting for the children that black men harm because doing so would require a consequence for black men. The delusion is literally getting them unalived. Right. Not only that, part of, I think, was it you who said this? I think this might have been you. I think it's you. I think a lot of these people value men and access to men than they care about their children and protecting their children. And so getting a man in the home running amok, once you have a man in the home, is the priority, regardless of the effect it has on the child. And to me, it is deeply concerning. And I do, like, even when the man is the one being violent, and you are there and you are not doing anything to protect your child, I understand why that child would grow up to also resent the mother. Because, like, why you introduce this dusty, degenerate, useless man to your child? Having this man run amok in your home with your child. Like, I don't like that. Black women are prioritizing black men at the expense of their children's life. It's really... Yeah. I'm thinking about two situations online. And there was this little boy. He was in a church video, and I think the guy is a pastor. And it was on live stream. And the boy told the school that the man touched him. And I remember watching that little boy have to sit on camera talking to the public about how he lies and he's a liar. And I was going to do content on it, but like I couldn't get through it because of how sad I was. And I am reminded of how fortunate I am. I know you meant irking. I'm reminded of how fortunate I am to have a parents who were deeply protective of me, and realizing that not everyone has a parent and parents, my mom and dad, showed up for me in ways that I can never repay. I can never speak ill of either of them because they showed up for me. And to watch young boys and girls get abused and discarded is insane to me, because the fathers aren't there, which is a problem in and of itself. And the mothers, a lot of them are so focused on access to men that they neglect their duties as mothers to their children. And I do find this deeply concerning, insidious and disgusting. Like, I do actually have a real problem with this. The reason I'm taking so long on this point is because I've been wanting to discuss this, but I want to be careful. I think, in particular, single mothers have gotten a bad rep online, and they've become the punching bag for a lot of people. And I am very protective of single mothers in particular, because it is doing the work of a community. It is doing the work of a father who is absent. It is doing the work of a lot of people. And that, in and of itself, I feel is too much, right? And I do not want to add my voice to people disrespecting single mothers in any way. But I also, on the other hand, am very concerned with the care for the children when a man is introduced into the picture. I'll tell you not a quick story, but like something that I've seen. This lady had 3 children, 2 by one guy, 1 by another guy. And they were 10, 8, and I think 13. The oldest one was 13. And then she got pregnant again by a man who was living in North Carolina. And the kids hate this man, didn't explain fully why they hate this man, but there's something very off and dark about him. But anyway. And they're not even together. And I'm trying to figure, never mind. I'm just going to leave it. I'm just going to leave that. I'm going to leave that. And Black women can't deny this because they publicly promote saving a grown man over their children. It's the Christian way. Not only is it the Christian way, it's a bunch of people like praying for degenerate men when they're out there and praying for them to change and that God will move them. God did not move them to stop from abusing kids and unaliving kids. Why do you think? It's a chop, girl. It's a chop. It's a chop. It's a chop. It's a chop. No, I mean, ultimately, it gets down to the point where she don't like me no more because I asked her, why would you have a child with nothing. She don't like me. I'm not very good. When the Surviving Themis documentary comes out, let me just say that. When the Surviving Themis documentary comes out, let me tell you what it's going to say. It's going to say that I was blunt and disrespectful. That's what it's going to say. And the example they're going to give of my disrespect is me questioning their life choices. That is exactly what it's going to say. Nothing more, nothing less. I do not disrespect people. I do not mistreat people. I do not abuse people. I don't do any of that. What I do is question your choices. And I didn't know this was a thing, that people hate you if they come to you with decisions or said something and you tell them the truth. I realize people don't like you telling them what you truly believe. So, yeah, that's that on that.
That's something that you should discount. Like I think when it comes to women, there's a certain level of respect that has to be given to a man. Mm-hmm. The same way a man has a certain level of respect he should be able to and should give to a woman, right? Yeah. When those boundaries are understood, then it's harmony and peace all day, because there's no ego. And what is the problem with America is that when a woman take that masculine trait, they also adapt the ego.
But I don't women think should never have an ego. It. You know what? I have another theory.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should say it out loud.
Say it out loud.
I'm gonna say it out loud.
Yeah, that shade. That shade.
No, I have another theory. Roommates still come for me. I have a theory where in African households, right, the man is just the provider. Like right. I could be a doctor and my man could be unemployed for like a couple months and he still has the understanding to be like the provider and lead the house, all of 100%. That stuff, right?
How can your man be unemployed, still providing and leading your house as when you're a doctor? Are you dumb? Yeah, like I am sick. The idea that men are your leaders is insane to me. You are an accomplished doctor in your dusty scenario, and the man is unemployed, and you're talking about he has the understanding that he should lead that. Lead what house? Why? How he gonna lead out? How he go? You're a whole doctor, girl. He unemployed. How he can't even lead his own life. He cannot lead his own life. He's currently unemployed, can't do anything, don't got no money. You're a doctor, and this doesn't. If you're currently unemployed, hear me and hear me well. It is okay that you need to reestablish yourself, build yourself up, and create the life you want. Being unemployed, particularly in this economy, is not itself bad. It's you being an unemployed, dusty, degenerate, useless person thinking that you should be someone else's leader that is a problem. You're nobody's leader. That's not a thing. You're not going to be broke, dusty, disgusting, degenerate, useless, and unemployed thinking you're going to be a leader. No, you're not a leader. Stop assuming that men are the leader. You all are putting burdens on men that they can't carry. Most men can't even be leaders. Most men are followers. It is a thing. Most men want to follow. They're not about to lead. You telling these men that they're leaders is why they are in incel forums right now trying to figure out how to be a man. Girl, hang it up. You ain't got it. It's a chop. Now go find a woman to lead you. You are broke, useless man, and you all think this man should be leading. Stop putting pressures and burdens on people who shouldn't have it. Like, what do you mean? He can't lead. It is a chop. If you want a leader, go find one. The broke man in your house is not your leader. And you continuing to pretend like he is going to be a problem. You continuing to pretend these men are leaders when they are not is going to be a problem. You being a doctor and your man being unemployed and you sitting up there talking about he needs to find a way to lead you in your home is degenerate. It is as degenerate goes. And the fact that she up here thinking that African men are better than Black American men by saying that at least in Africa, don't name a country. She does not name a country because I want to go check the femicide rate in whatever country she names. But she's saying men in Africa understand, even when they're unemployed, that they need to be leaders and providers, even if they're married to a doctor. And this is standing in direct contrast to African American men. How are you going to be a leader in Africa without money? Please, please. So she's saying African men are better than American men, is what she's saying. Delusional. The problem is now y'all get up into this, oh, Africans are better, Americans are better. No, girl, all of them degenerate. It is what it is. And if they're not degenerate, then they're all not degenerate. It's not a thing. It is not a thing where African men are better than American men, Jamaican men are better. It's not a thing. It is not a thing. And if you think it's a thing, you're gonna find out. You're going to find out. It's not a thing. This diaspora war is going to get y'all in a choke. The diaspora war got y'all in a chokehold.
Right. I have a theory, like in the American culture, unfortunately, because sometimes the fathers aren't always in the household. A lot of men are seeing their mothers do everything. They're seeing.
Right.
And even when fathers are in the home, the different countries in Africa has girls going through female genital mutilation. Like, please get out of my face. Please get out of my face. Like, I'm not doing this with y'all. I'm not doing this. You're not about to sit up here. Like, let's do GDP to GDP. Like, I don't like this idea. Like, why does it need to be this? I need to elevate my culture over yours. Like, why is that a thing? Why do you need to do that? And also, it is not true. It is not true.
Her be mom and dad. They're seeing her cook. They're seeing her go to work. They're seeing her.
That's to their defense, because that's
so y'all saying these African women not working. Are y'all really want us to believe African women just not working? Again, I don't actually know what country they're talking about. I'm gonna check something. Which African country has women not working in mass? It's not a thing. Not a thing. Should we go to Sudan, Chad, Mali, Niger, Morocco, Egypt, Benin? Like, where we gotta go, girl? Where you want us to go? Where in Africa you want us to go to look at women employment, the poverty rate? I don't know. Like, what do you want us to look up? I do not like people lying. I find it very. I find it highly problematic.
It's a real problem in America.
Right. So when they meet a woman, they're expecting women, in my mind, in a theory, to be what they saw their mother do.
No. What she is doing is problematic, and I'm pushing back vigorously. I'm really annoyed by it because it further creates a wedge where it should not be. It creates this wedge between Americans and African women who are having very similar experiences. The difference is, at least in the US context, the women are getting educated and providing for themselves, right? And so to pretend like we don't see what is happening all over the continent of Africa is insane. To pretend these women, African women, coming out now on TikTok talking about their engagement with men and how horrible it is, to pretend that is not happening is insane to me. To ignore the black femicide rate all over Africa is insane. The genital mutilation is insane. The economy is insane. The fact that we have a lot of countries labeled third world, with the exception of South Africa, is absolutely insane in Africa. Like, I don't like this very specific lie that is being told. This is very problematic. I hate doing this, but Akon just pointed out how women are divided and women need to come together to overthrow patriarchy, himself included. Right? He says this because he knows this is not going to happen. And in the same interview where he points this reality out, we have this woman creating a further wedge between women who should be sisters, who should be caring for each other, who should be sharing stories and highlighting some of the same issues. The idea that you're going to pretend that within the context of the African experience for women, that they are somehow doing better than American women is absolutely insane and diabolical and useless. You are a liar. It is not true. That's like me coming up here and say, you know what, Jamaican men are doing better than African American men. That's not a truth. That's not true. It's not. Just look to the standard of living as just one marker. Girl, please. like no.
They saw their grandma do. They're not understanding, why can't we go 50-50? Why can't you go to work and still come home and clean? Because they saw their mother or their grandmother be that, is my theory. So I think that the women want the soft life, but I think that sometimes the men think they're the birthday. Sometimes the men think they're...
the man is the birthday.
The man is not the birthday.
See, that's the problem right there. What? That's the problem right there.
The man...
If the man ain't the birthday, who's going to be the one bringing the gifts?
No.
I'm just saying.
The woman is the birthday.
Again, God created the woman to be the man's support, not the other way around. It goes back to nature again. All the problems can be.
I don't know why she's leaning her head. Why is she leaning her head when this man look you in your face and tell you that you are nothing but the support, that you were made to support him and his dream, that you don't actually have an identity outside of him and caring for him, supporting him, for him to go. I don't know why you were mad. You just said, even as a doctor, the man is the leader in your home. You said that. So now why are you mad? That is your rhetoric turned back at you. You said that. Why are you mad? Are you dumb? Like, why are you mad? You sat up there and you said that African men know that they are the leaders. Even if you're a doctor in your home, they are the leaders. Why are you mad? Like exhausted, tired. Listen to yourself, man, and grow out of the foolishness. Oh, African men just know they're the leaders. For example, if like you're a doctor in Africa, didn't name a country. If you're a doctor in Africa and he is unemployed, he still knows he's the leader. And now the man said you are nothing but a support. And you're mad? What part of what you said did you not understand? The soft life is given to you because you're an object being owned. And the richer your owner is, the more luxury you're afforded. They do not see you as equal. They see you as a thing to possess, to be possessed. They see you as a thing, an object to own. When he says you are a support, when you were made to help, when God created man, he then created women as a second thought, as a throwaway. You are the rib, you are the neck and not the head. It is reducing who you are relative to who he is. You know that, you accept that, you told him he was your leader, and now you're mad when he tells you you're nothing but a support. Girl, what are you mad about? That is the world you created. You said that about yourself. What is he supposed to do? You have accepted that. Oh, we're the smartest. Well, don't sound that smart now, does it? The most educated, but you sitting up here talking about how you are not the leader, you were the servant. Girl, please get out of my face. Now you mad. He told you you're nothing but a support, and you sitting up there mad. I would have told him to prove that male God exists before he references him. Period. That's your rhetoric coming home, girl. What are you talking about? Billy, I ain't gonna put what you put up there. I'm not gonna. Billy, I ain't putting what you said up here.
Solved if you just go back to nature. Just God created man first, then created a woman as his support. This is why you will never find a powerful man without a woman. Because the woman is who gives him the strength, the energy, and most times even the knowledge for him to execute. Because we got this.
So you gonna give him the strength, the power, the knowledge. You gonna give him everything to lead you. Why can't you do it yourself, girl? Please get out of my face. And she gonna be like, yeah. See, this is the manipulation. He realizes she's uncomfortable with the fact that she should accept that she's essentially a slave, right? An indentured servant, if you will. Maybe she's a critical employee, right? And he realizes she's mad. So he then switches the language. Nothing else changes except the language. You actually help me. You create powerful men. You have wisdom, but you give it to the man. It's still the man. The man is still the person with the power, right? But they elevate you through ego because you don't actually get elevated. You are just still as useless as you were in the first descriptor. He just creates a second one where your ego feels better about having some level of control while being subjugated. And he's extracting resources from you to build himself up and then probably leave you when he wants. And in his world, go up there and go have other random women through your resources, girl. Ain't nobody got time. And she just over there smiling. Nothing changed but the language. Everything substantively stayed the exact same. All of it was exactly the same. He just pandered to her ego a little bit, and there she is. Ha ha ha. Just a great man. We create behind every great man is a good woman. Girl, why are you behind him? Why? Why are you behind him? Ugh. Like I'm actually disgusted. I'm very disgusted. And if he couldn't, I would have told him because in nature, females don't deal with males beyond procreation. Males are not centered by any female mammals, nor are they submissive to me. Right. Like the fact that these men have y'all out here just being submissive. And the thing is, you guys saw her face. She reacted very negatively to him saying, "Guy, you are my helper. Go forth and help. You were made to help." Right? She reacted negatively, and so he just rephrased the same sentence. The same thing, rephrase, send it to her. She's like, "Yeah, we help, girl. Behind every good man, behind every strong man is a good woman." Girl, get out of my face. You're still the helper. What do you mean? Like, you didn't want to be told you're the helper. So he said, behind every strong man is a good woman. And you're like, oh, yeah, I'm a good woman, a Psalms woman, girl. Girl, shut up. Ugh. The most educated women. There. The most educated. Like, I'm so sick. I am so sick. I am so sick. I'm disgusted because he did nothing besides give you an ego a little boost that you're a good woman if your man is strong. And now you feel like, yeah, girl, now I'm a servant. Now I accept servitude. Yes, I am a slave, but I create great kings. Phenomenal. Thanks, man. We're 2 hours over, girl. Ain't nobody got time. Get the man, get you.
Strength, and we got the drive, and we got the sense of just that courage.
But to your point, I think women are also more successful sometimes without a man. That's scientifically proven.
Not only is it scientifically proven, girl, it is scientifically proven that if you're a successful woman and you get a man, the odds are you're about to lose everything you got. For Black women in particular, if you are successful and you go get a man, the odds are something about to go amiss in your empire.
It's all, but that's a propaganda.
No, it's science.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
There is no successful woman that's alone that's happy.
Happiness is not a constant state of being. It is a fleeting emotion, and there are 0 people in this world that is happy all the time. No one is happy all the time. Feminism does not ever tell you that you will be happy as a feminist. It's not a thing. And the people telling you would be happy as a child wife are lying to you. It's not a thing. It's not a thing. You make the best out of the decisions you make, and that's it. You create for yourself the life you want, and you do the best you can. If you want to be happy all the time, girl, it's not a thing. It's a chop. Just let it go.
She lying like a mother. Women don't know how.
What do you mean you want to hear what she responds? Has this woman been responding? All this woman has been doing is cackling this entire time, pissing me off. Mind you, I love to watch content creators who laugh a lot, because I laugh a lot. And I know it gets annoying for a lot of people, so I apologize in advance. But I do like people laughing. I like hearing laughter. She's annoying. There is no point in this interview where she provides anything meaningful. She will not respond. She will just be over there cackling as if he says something funny. This man ain't said nothing funny this entire time.
It's almost like a man can't operate without his muscle. A woman can't operate without her emotion. She needs somebody or something to give that emotion to. Otherwise.
So men operate without their emotion. Women operate. So women are out here operating without their muscles. Women are out here operating without their muscles. That's what you're telling me. Just bone and skin. Just bone, skin, and fat. The women just out here. Like what is this? He wouldn't have agreed to the interview if the woman was strong and not true. True. That's what I was saying initially.
She's going to be miserable.
But it doesn't always. It doesn't have to be a man.
But this is the problem again. Nature has never created an opportunity for that misinformation to be spread. And don't start that. African. You're African. This is the problem. I'm trying to tell you. This is the problem.
So I'm going to read some random facts about you. And we'll go from there. So I heard you and Nelly were besties or...
Okay. I can't really speak on it.
And that was her response. Her response to the foolishness was her response to homophobia, that Africa, apparently you're from Africa, therefore you cannot be gay. You're from Africa, so you can't be into woman as a woman. She laughs and she goes, okay, girl, period. Ha ha ha. I heard you and Nelly were really good friends. The most educated among us, ladies and gentlemen. Please get out of my face. Please get out of my face. All right, I'm going to the after show because we are way over 2 hours and I wanted this to be 1 hour and 30 minutes. So let's go into the after show. The need to be accepted, the need to be uplifted, the need to even flirt with men that you might not even want is so deep and entrenched that I think this woman was just shook and starstruck, and she just was just having the best time of her life, not even engaging in really meaningful discussion. I'm not sure what the substance of this interview was supposed to be. What I do know is that it was degenerate, useless, and no one needed it. We used it hopefully to highlight how degenerate these people are, but also I find it fascinating Akon's unwillingness to step truly into his own degeneracy, and he spreads that onto other men. Akon by himself is not important to me. What is important is the interviewer, and a woman who seems to be, she doesn't seem knowledgeable. I'm going to take that back. A woman who just is there, and an average woman in terms of her mentality, incapable of doing the kind of analysis that needs to be done in the face of degeneracy. You were not made second. That's not a thing. He can't prove that. You were not made second. That's the first thing. Second, you are not here to be anyone's helper unless you choose to be someone's helper. You were not created to be a helper. That's not a thing. Men are not natural leaders, and you need to stop pretend. You don't need to pretend. Stop pretending like men are your natural leaders. That's not a thing. Most men do not know what they're doing. Most men cannot lead their own lives. The idea that they need to lead yours is absolutely insane. I think this is why a lot of these like celebrity black women start dating these black men and made these men their managers. Like these men failed at everything in life, and you just took them and made them your manager, and then you're frightened and concerned about why you are failing in your career. They don't know nothing. Yes, I'm talking about money. It is what it is. What it is. Men aren't providers and men aren't protectors. You know that because you see it every single time you walk out into the world who is providing and protecting these kids. So you all know the answer. Let's stop being delusional. I I just I just find this fascinating, but also really disrespectful, sad, and I don't know what to say anymore. This man allegedly scammed his way through Africa, and here he is back in the US trying to pretend that somehow women in Africa are doing better than women in America. And that's wild. I don't even know how they do that comparative work, because that's not a thing. So I'm going to end it here. I'm trying to figure out if I should keep this up and make it members only. Because I think that I don't want to be reckless when I talk, and I'm trying not to be reckless when I talk. So maybe it wasn't that bad. I'll ask the Discord. I'm gonna go ask the Discord. Well, not tonight. Maybe tomorrow when we watch something in the Discord. I'll ask them if I should keep it up. Have a wonderful night, everyone. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Please like the video on your way out. Do it. Yeah, all right, I'll keep it up for now. I'll talk to you all later. I will see you tomorrow. I have a lot of content planned for this week, so I will see you all tomorrow. Bye. Welcome back, Sin. I don't know if you're still here, but welcome back. I do hope you had a good rest.